The S.I.M.S approach and how it can strengthen your mindset. Say, truth coach, what is the S.I.M.S approach? Well, we're going to start there. We got to do a little groundwork first. We're going to do a little homework so that we know where we're going with this. And the S.I.M.S approach is a copyrighted approach that we use at Truth University to help individuals to find their way within their scenario. S.I.M.S approach is simple. It's an acronym for the story. Then you have implementation, manifestation, and show and tell. And this is going to come into play very heavily because we got to understand what the mindset is. The mindset is a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself. Now, I don't want to worry about the world. I want to worry about the individual, that person, because that mindset is what shapes the individual, because that mindset is the things that have been implemented into you through those that raised you from the beginning. Now, we got a lot of people that have a fixed mindset. What's that fixed mindset? That fixed mindset is that mind that where you see the glass is always half empty, so you're afraid to go any further because you feel like you might lose everything that you have, or you might lose these relationships, or you might ruffle a feather or some things like that. But then you have those individuals that have that growth mindset, and the glass is always half full. So they don't really believe that it's ever going to be empty because there's always an opportunity. There's always a chance for change. There's always an opportunity for something better. See, the good thing about being full, if it overflows, it still doesn't run out. And see, that's what I like. That's what I like about that the difference between this fixed mindset and that growth mindset. I like opportunities. I like change. So how do you face your mindset? Well, I like to do it through the eyes of self. And I like to go to the story. Most important part of this scenario is the story. We're going to have to go through that story in our eyes, through our way of thinking, not with any distractions. You don't need any distractions, because if you have distractions, you're going to continue to find yourself here, fixed, stuck, afraid, not seeing opportunity, not wanting to ruffle feathers, not understanding that you are strong enough to stand on your own, not understanding that your opinion matters and what you have to say is important. So we're going to go to the story. We're going to look at that story through our eyes, and we're going to go and find these instances within our mindset. And I'll use myself as an example to help you all. And see, so we're going to take Randy. And see, Randy was afraid to speak. Why were you afraid to speak? Because when I was coming up within my story, I was never allowed to be heard. That's important when it comes to a kid. See, if you always tell a kid to, those words that you tell kids not to use, shut up, be quiet. But if they always hear that, when they become adults, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to always shut up, and they're going to always be quiet. We're going to fix ourselves to only speak when it's worthy of the other person and not self. Now, how is that beneficial to you as an individual if you only want to speak when people want to accept what you have to say? It's impossible. So we're going to go into that story, and we're going to start going to these instances. So we're going to start going back into our past, and I'm going to go into my past, and I want you all to go into your past, and I want you to find that instance in your life that has your mindset stagnated, and I want you to face it head on. So that's what I did. I went back and I faced it head on, and I said, you know what? I understand that I am an adolescent. I'm a kid, but I do have a voice. And my voice is important. And if I don't find a way to start using it, how can I be effective as a husband, as a father, as a friend, just as an individual within this world? It's impossible because, number one, I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself enough to know that it's okay to say the wrong thing. Is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing? Ask yourself that question. See, to me, it was a bad thing. And it was a bad thing because how can I have the confidence to walk up to my wife and give her some valuable advice and trust that she'll accept it if in my mind I'm already making a mistake? It's impossible. It's impossible. I have to hold myself accountable for my words. Just as I want you to hold yourself accountable for your actions, I want you to hold yourself accountable for your decisions. See, don't blame when you were the orchestrator. See, that's what we do. We like to blame because we don't want to realize that we made the decision. You made the decision to decide not to want to move forward. You made the decision to decide not to move forward. We can't do that. How can you implement and change within this approach if you're not willing to go against the grain? I have to go against the grain. So what was my going against the grain? My going against the grain was understanding that I might ruffle some feathers when it comes to my parents. That's a scary place to be as a child. It's definitely a scary place to be as an adult when you've never done it. But in order to be the best version of self, I have to make that decision. Just as you have to make the decision within your scenario, you have to ask yourself, where am I in? Am I in a growth mindset right now, or am I fixed? Am I happy with where I am? Am I one that doesn't really like challenges? I've already made these accomplishments. Why should I face a challenge? I'm happy where I am. Or am I like, you know what? This is not good enough. Send me a challenge so I can try to move forward. I think I would like to be that person. I would like to be that person. Now, understand that everybody's not going to be on the same page with you, and it's okay. See, I had to start looking at things in the way of, if I'm left alone, am I happy with where I'm standing? He said, what do you mean? See, we protect everything around us. We protect everything around us. We protect people, places, and things. But the one thing we never protect is self. We will sacrifice ourselves to ensure that everything around us is working properly, but internally we're dying. In our quiet place, we're suicidal. We're depressed. High levels of anxiety. But boy, we put up a pretty face. We walk around and we smile at everybody and we shake everybody's hands and we do it all the right way. But it's in our quiet space. The most important time to me is when you're alone, because that's when the demons start to haunt you. They don't haunt you when people are around. They haunt you when you're by yourself. You have to be willing to fight those demons before they appear. You have to be willing, and it's okay to make mom mad. It's okay to disappoint dad if it's going to benefit you. See, a lot of us grew up in these households where it was, I'm the adult, I've been there, you don't know anything. Is that necessarily true? See, times change. Kids these days, they live in different lives that you lived, say, 20 years before they were here. So how can you tell them that you can understand what they're going through right now? You can't. So be willing to lend an ear to that pupil, because that is a pupil. They're not a professor, but even professors can learn from their pupils. Wow, really? Yeah, even professors can learn from their pupils because we don't know everything. So stop living in the lifestyle that you know everything. You tell us the mind is a terrible thing to waste, but you implement stuff into my mind that you don't want me to let go of. So am I wasting my mind, or were you just wasting my time? See, I don't want it to be a time wasted scenario, because that's the one thing we can't get back. Now, see, I can get that relationship back after I disagree with you. But that time that was lost is precious. Take advantage of it and grow all the time. Don't be stuck and fixated. You are not a tree. That tree has a purpose. That's why it's stuck in one place. But you as an individual have a purpose, and you have to spread your purpose around. So that means you have to move, but you also have to grow. You can't stay in one place and expect to affect a generation that is light years after you. You have to grow in that situation. So it's okay to pivot. It's okay to shift. It's okay. Do you ride down the same lane the whole way your trip? No. If the cars beside you or in front of you are not moving at the pace that you want, what do? You shift. And you don't ask permission. You do it because you have the right to make that decision. Same thing goes with you in life. Same thing goes with you when you use your mind. It is okay to shift. It's okay to pivot because with those pivots, you're going to see different things, opportunities. That's what life is about, opportunities. How can you raise a kid and not teach them the importance of opportunity? See, that's what you do when you lock their mindset in on your ideologies. Don't allow that to happen. Teach them, but allow them. Teach them, but allow them. And that's so important that they are allowed the opportunity to make their own mistakes. You made your mistakes, allow them to make theirs, and be there for them. Be there to catch them. And then show them the lesson in the opportunity of the mistake. See, everything is not a bad thing, but the worst thing is not trying. But when you have a fixed mind state, you don't try. You create a habit. And the one thing about a habit is, no matter what anybody thinks about it, you're going to do it over and over and over again. And every time you do it, it's going to make you possibly feel good, possibly feel bad. But whatever the result is, you're happy with it. Is that the way you want to live life? Is that the way you want to leave a legacy? Is that the way you want to be observed by your pupil? I think not. We cannot get to manifestation until we implement a little bit of change. A little bit of change. So Randy, how did you implement your change? You know what? I was at the time set in my ways, living my way, and I started raising my kids in the same manner. Same manner. I was not necessarily telling them to be quiet, but I wasn't listening. So you don't have to say it, but you still can do it. I wasn't telling them to be quiet, but I wasn't listening. And started seeing my kids wandering off, but not physically, mentally. That was very discomforting to me. So I had to implement my change by allowing them to have a voice. See, what I'm trying to show you is, say, how do you use the S.I.M.S approach to strengthen your mindset? See, my mind was set on, I'm the adult. I know what I'm talking about. You'll get your opportunity once you become an adult. No. The S.I.M.S approach told me to allow those kids to do what you weren't allowed to do. And that was speak. Best decision I ever could have made because my manifestation came from the results of allowing my kids to open their mouth and talk to me. See, we want we want this self-gratification for things to happen to us physically and mentally. But what if your change happens to the things that are around you that you affect the most? Don't be so tunnel visioned that you selfishly only want these things to be directed directly at you. No. See, I had to show the world through my actions with my kids that change is okay. That kids' voices are okay. That they actually have some knowledge. And you know what? If I listen to them, I might actually be able to help myself. Because one thing they have is a lot more idle time than we do. So it'd be amazing to see how their idle time works through a conversation. Because now what not only am I manifesting, I'm manifesting an individual that knows how to speak, but they also know how to listen. See, when you tell someone to be quiet, you think that their mouth is shut, but you also close their ears. You also close their ears because it becomes a rebellion type scenario. Oh, you don't want me to talk? Why I need to listen to you? No, that's not the way it needs to go. See, you can't tell a kid to go to school and I need you to take in everything and I need you to bring me back results. But that kid doesn't have a voice, so why do the results even matter? Why do they even matter? All I know is what I need to do is what you told me. If I do what I told you, I should make you happy, right? Correct. All right, that's what I'll do. And that's what that kids take the whole rest of their life. Stagnated. Never wanting to grow. Well, as long as I get enough to get me by, I'll be good. But they sit there and watch all those other people that are accelerating in life, moving super fast. What do they need to implement? They need to implement the strength to go against the grain and chase that dream that they want. And dreams don't have to be big. Sometimes they can be small. And that dream is, I just want to try to be a little bit more successful. Just a little bit more successful. Just a little bit more successful. So I got to change my mindset. And my mindset can no longer be just being comfortable is enough. Just being comfortable is enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. And see, when you start doing that, you'll start manifesting small things. Everybody has a list of things that they would like to have. Everybody has a list of things that they would like to accomplish. See, that's what you start manifesting when you start having your own voice. You start having that list, those possibilities start becoming realities. They start becoming realities. And that's what we need. We need people that understand that possibilities can be realities. And if it's not the right reality for somebody else, that doesn't mean it can't be the right reality for you. I want you to understand that this way right here ain't nothing. It's nothing. This is the only way. Growth. Being fixed is not the way you need to be. Growth. Opportunity always exists in a growth mindset. Always exists. And it's okay to pivot. It's so okay to pivot. See, look, your voice matters. But you got to be willing to hold yourself accountable for your decisions. Don't be afraid of accountability. Because by you being accountable, you'll start to hold other people accountable for their actions and their decisions as they deal with you. That's what's important. See, we got to understand that a fixed mindset is a clouded mind. And a clouded mind brings on demons that you don't want to face. See, I was one that faced those suicidal thoughts. I was one that faced the high levels of depression, anxiety. They tried to put me on these different substances to steer me one way or another, instead of just coming to me and saying, Randy, what's the problem? And seeing if I'll give them the answer. Well, my real problem is I don't know how to express myself. And I get within my own head and I start having these conversations with myself, and I never can convince myself to be different. And sometimes I just feel like maybe I don't need to be here anymore. Maybe I should just take my truck and drive it off the bridge instead of giving me a substance. See, I'm not going to give you a substance. I'm going to give you a solution. And the solution lies within yourself. See, that's why you don't hear me talk about the world. If there is no world without a bunch of yourselves, individuals. But I want strong individuals with a mindset fixed on acceleration. Don't have a mindset that's just fixed on standing in the mud. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to be there. How can you show and tell the world that you're different through your actions if you never change? They're going to get tired of seeing you, right? Yeah, because I'm going to get tired of seeing you. I don't want to see the same thing all the time because there's no improvement. There's no growth. I can't learn from that. I can't learn from watching an individual never move forward. And you say, well, Coach, you used a tree as an analogy earlier, and that's an object that doesn't move. Yeah, I agree with you. It might not move, but it changes. See, it changes. It changes. It has its own way of changing, and you can't change it. Now, that might be an inanimate object, but at the end of the day, look at the process. And we talk about this tree, and you say it's an inanimate object, Coach. I mean, how can you take a tree and voice your opinion about mindset in the tree? Well, let me show you. A tree does have a mind of its own. You can't tell a tree in the fall, I don't want your leaves to fall. That tree said, no, this is my process. This is the way it's going to happen. It's going to happen because I need to rejuvenate myself. I need to be better. I need to be stronger. I need to let go of the old so I can be prepared to bring on the new. Why is it so hard for you to do that? Sometimes you got to let go of the old so that you can bring on the new. If I could leave you with anything, if I can leave you with anything to move forward, as you start to implement this S.I.M.S approach into your life to change your mindset, to strengthen it, to make it better, to understand that growth mindset is the only one that needs to exist. I don't believe that this fixed mind state should be there. You see, it's gone because there's no growth in that. It creates bad habits for you. But I didn't erase habit because you can't create good habits with the growth mindset. That's what I want you to understand. It's okay to be yourself and understand that yourself has the right to make your own decisions. Now, once you go through your story, find those points that you need to address. Figure out what you need to do so you can implement in some change. Then I want you to manifest through your actions a better version of yourself. And we don't have to talk about it after that. Just show the world and they're going to tell everybody about you. See, that's how the Truth Coach Randy's mind works. It's always growing, always evolving. I want to encourage you to evolve your mindset. I want you to continue to grow your mindset. And I want you to spread the word about how it feels when you change your mindset. Now, the S.I.M.S approach can help you on many, many things. But I don't want you to worry about that right now. Don't even worry about the things. Think about yourself. Think about yourself and ask yourself, what part of my story do I need to address so that I can ensure that I always end my day as the best? And I always like to leave you with one thing. And I want you to take this seriously. I don't want you to take it lightly. See, one thing about me, when you think about a lie, people always want to think about a fabrication. A lie is not necessarily always a fabrication. Sometimes it's just not what you think it should be. So I always want you to remember, don't find comfort in the lies. Instead, seek freedom in the truth.